How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and today I'm talking about all the underrated aspects of living in Denver, Colorado, and all the reasons you should want to move here. And I'm starting right now. Alright, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Evertson. Listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons of moving to or around Denver, Colorado, then this is a channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon popping up on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And listen, as much as I love getting a little creative here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of Denver's most talented realtors. So the number and email popping up on your screen, know that I am always the person answering your phone calls, answering your texts, answering your email, there when and if you need me. Now that we're done with that fun-filled stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is what are the most underrated aspects of living in Denver, Colorado, and all the reasons you should move here. Now, listen, I'm a Denver native. I know we like to throw out that term a lot, almost ad nauseum. But I mean, if we're going to talk about the underrated aspects of Denver, we got to be a little tongue-in-cheek, right? We got to have a little fun with this, because at the end of the day, there's a reason that I live here. There is a reason that my family and my foreseeable family will live here, and it's not because Denver sucks. But there are certainly probably some things that we're underrated for. So the number one thing I'm going to talk about today is food. There was a time in my life where I would look at Denver and I would say, you know what, Denver food kind of sucks, except for Mexican food. Our Mexican food is mwah. But I mean, if I wanted Italian, nah. If I wanted pizza, nah. If I wanted seafood, nah. And I'm not gonna lie to you, those three things are probably not our strongest. Italian, pizza, and yes, I know pizza and Italian are like, you know, I get that. Seafood, I mean, it's Denver, it's Colorado, we're kind of in the middle of the nation. There's no water around us, probably. But restaurants in Denver have drastically improved, I would say, over the last 9 to 10 years. As the population grew and as more people moved here, obviously there were more restaurants necessary to feed all these people and take care of them. And I think the restaurant competition also improved. So food in Denver, in my humble opinion, is underrated. And if anybody tries to tell you that the Mexican food in Denver isn't good, fight them. I mean, they are redoing Casa Bonita. If you haven't heard of Casa Bonita, I don't know, watch South Park. But Casa Bonita, this glorious Mexican restaurant, been around my entire life. It's a Denver just icon. But the food, I will fully admit, had always been horrible. It was a place that you went to see like cliff divers and caves. Very random. I know when you think about Mexican restaurants, like cliff divers and caves may not come to mind, but that's what Casa Bonita was. Well, they're redoing it, and it's gonna have good food. Like, underrated food in Denver? Come on, we're on point. The second underrated thing about Denver is sporting events and how fun they are. Yes, I know the Colorado Rockies suck, and yes, it kind of pains my soul to say that the Denver Broncos suck, because I never thought in my life I would say that. Denver Broncos, let's ride. But sporting events in Denver are still a blast and highly underrated to go see. Going to get Nuggets, Avs, hell, Colorado Rapids. We got the Colorado lacrosse, the lacrosse team. But even still going to a Broncos game, and hell, one of our last games you could buy home tickets for like $20. I mean, who wouldn't go to a football game? You buy 2 beers would cost you more than your ticket. And Russell Wilson. The third underrated thing about Denver is its walkability. And I genuinely think when you look at some of the neighborhoods we have, when you get into Rhino, when you get into River North or 5 Points, all the walkable neighborhoods over there in the Art District. You get down near Union Station downtown. You get into the neighborhoods. The Highlands, one of my favorite neighborhoods, and Sloan's Lakes. Sloan's Lakes. Apparently there's multiple lakes now. No, Sloan Lake. There are just these great walkable areas with parks and restaurants and cafes. Denver is a very walkable city, and there's a lot of different, suburbs and areas that are walkable. I am not telling you to move to Denver without a car, but I am telling you that if you have a car and you get to a certain point, you can park that car and walk several blocks. The fourth underrated thing about Denver is, as much as we talk about weather and winters and the fact that it's going to snow, we don't see a lot of extreme weather. We don't see a lot of, oh my God, it's hot, right? We're not Arizona 115 degree hot, and we're not North Dakota, oh my God, cold. So just a handful of days before making this video, we had this cold stretch, it was 2 days, in Denver where temperatures hit like -10, -12. The news, which I always believe, said that it was going to be one of the coldest days in 30 years in Denver. So that tells you how extreme it was to get that cold. But then like 2 days later, it was 45 degrees again. So it does get cold. It does get hot, but we don't see the extreme. So if you're coming from a very cold climate, you're in great shape. If you're coming from a very hot climate, you're in great shape. And it's dry here. So our hottest hot doesn't feel as bad, and our coldest cold doesn't feel as bad. But number 5, one more time, we don't have bugs. Like, if you're used to getting like bit up by mosquitoes and nasty things, we don't have them. I mean, we have flies, and we have like moths, we have like the basic insects, but not really the insects that get at you and bite you. You're not gonna catch malaria in Denver is what I'm trying to tell you. But no bugs. I have to admit, I didn't really think about the bug thing, and I didn't really think about that being underrated until I went on a couple trips and got bit to shit. And also, I talked to some people here, was kind of asking them, like, what do you think is underrated about Denver and Colorado? And so many people were like, oh, we don't have mosquitoes here. We don't have these big bugs. We don't have gnats. We don't have these things that bite you. And apparently I wasn't aware of this. There are parts of the country where you have to be like terrified of insects at all time. I mean, I was used to a couple cockroaches moving my couch in New York, but not one that was going to come up and bite me. I'm all jokes. Number 6, seeing as now I know what 6 is with my fingers, is our music scene. And this, I'm probably cheating on this one because I don't think that our music scene is underrated anymore. I think there was a time where it was, but Denver's music scene is pretty on point. We'll always bring up Red Rocks Amphitheater, but I mean, you've got a lot of venues to go to, a lot of different places. Larimer Lounge is a personal favorite of mine. I'm just gonna have you Google it because it's a little dive joint that I love. But you've got all these different music venues that you can visit. And the music scene in Denver, we got a lot of great bands in, and we got a lot of great local bands that play. So the music scene certainly getting more respect today than it was before. Can I still say it's underrated? I'm going to, because I have it in my list, and it would be kind of awkward to mid-sentence tell you that number 6, because I'm going to keep doing my fingers now that I know what 6 is, doesn't count. But music, underrated, overrated, whatever you want, it's dope in Denver. Reason number 7, which would be 5 plus 2, but reason number 7 is that there's a bunch of new people that you can meet as well. And I think that Denver has really become this great melting pot. And I think that's an underrated factor. It's an underrated factor because, I mean, you've heard me, if you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me kind of poke fun at natives. And yes, I am a native, but natives like to talk as though they're the only ones that belong here. Colorado has a thing about it. I've never been anywhere else where the native people of a state have more pride in the fact that they're, natives of that state. But you've had so many people move to Denver that there's just new peeps everywhere to meet. And they're from all over the country. And a lot of them came here and didn't know anybody. And I think back, even though I'm from here, I lived elsewhere for 12 years of my life. And when I came back to Denver, it didn't feel like it was as melting pot-ish as it is today. So you got to bars, there's a lot of different meetup groups, there's a lot of different events, there's a lot of different things getting new people together in new segments. So there's all sorts of new folks to come out and meet and find whatever hobbies you have, whether it's hidden at breweries or fishing or hiking or biking or golfing or tennis. I say tennis, disc golf. Disc golf is what I meant, but somehow tennis came out of my mouth. I don't know what to tell you. Today, I can't use my fingers correctly, and I can't say disc golf. My talking skills are underrated right now. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And finally, the 8th thing, I'm just so proud of my ability to count with my fingers. The 8th thing to talk about is how dog-friendly we are. And I'm gonna say it's underrated, even though it might be overrated, because I'm sure I've been to other states and I've been to other cities where they were pretty damn into dogs and they had some really cool places for dogs to hang out. But I live in Denver and we love dogs and I love dogs, and I don't think that you can ever overrate a town's love for dogs. I don't care how much it is. Short of them having like statues erected throughout the town of the dogs that have lived there, I think it's going to be underrated. So Denver, underrated for its love of dogs. Bring them out, bring them to breweries, bring them to the store. You know, you might randomly see like a woman walking through Whole Foods, checking lettuce with her pooch, not carrying it, but like, you know, down the ground checking, because the pooch might need some happy lettuce too. So dog friendly as can be, never underrated, never overrated. And little bonus, little sprinkles, you know, as I was talking to friends and clients about this video, is they had to mention some of the things that are underrated in Denver. Lookout Mountain, which is just this great little peak just outside of Denver that you can drive up to and gives you a great view of the city. Obviously, you're in the mountains, so you can see the mountains. Gives you a great view straight down Colfax, which is this, you know, picturesque avenue that you see from up there, but then as you get closer, you're not really going to want to hang around a lot of areas of Colfax. But Lookout Mountain, highly rated. The Botanical Gardens in Denver, man, underrated. Just a great place. Grab a cup of coffee on a sunny day. Doesn't necessarily have to be summer, but a sunny day. Grab a cup of coffee, walk around the Botanical Gardens. The Rhino Art District, you know, 5 points. Walking down, seeing what different people have created in this just incredible works of art that people do there. And not too far outside of Denver is the Boulder Planetarium, the Fisk Planetarium. That is not Denver, it's Boulder, but it's a very cool planetarium. It's cooler than the one that I have like 10 minutes from my house in Lakewood that I just had to add. Underrated. Get to Boulder, see the planetarium, see some stars. And while you're thinking about those stars, that's probably a great time to think about calling me. And there is the number and email popping up on your screen. We can talk about all the underrated and overrated things involved or around Denver. I feel like my mouth and my hands were never on the same page in this video. And if you got that too, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I'm Italian. It happens. Anyways, I'm going to go sit on my hands. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Jimmy Everts. That was the most underrated things about living in Denver, Colorado, and all the reasons you should move here. Until I see you next time, peace.